What's going on YouTube? Time for another recap. So today we finally got a little bit of a breakdown, right? So we've been waiting for either up or down here. And let's go over a couple of things that we were watching. So if you watched that last YouTube video out, NQ had a couple dojis on the daily. We said, hey man, just like yesterday, we're going to just chart off that doji and we're going to go over or under those doji bodies. Eventually, if we hold up, we're going to come up to the gaps that we have in a couple different programmed tops we're working with, which in my opinion, we will still get as long as we maintain above 221, 124.30. We're still heading up 223.85. I don't care about little pullbacks, especially back to the 10 SMA, because we bottom ticked it. So looking at NQ here, we can start with a little bit of a sick day. So if I'm aiming a little slower, that's why. So we had the little panic dump. Tesla took off to the downside pretty early this morning. Didn't have any real news for the wash. So we could just call it a technical wash. Not a big deal at all. So we talked a lot about the daily fibs and no tags. So let's go back to that daily real quick here and show you guys on Qs and NQ, the candles we've been talking about on this channel. February 13th, if you draw a Fibonacci point from high to low, you will notice that the golden pocket, which is between the 61.8 and 38.20, has never been tagged. So when the candle was created on the 13th, nothing, nothing, nothing. And then finally today, something, right? Look, take a quick peek at the QQQ here as well. And you note that we've talked about this a whole bunch, right? Remember the double no GP tag back here from a couple weeks ago, all our videos? Well, you guessed it. Market did it again. No problem, right? So we had a daily, again, surprise, surprise. It's the 13th, high-low on the QQ, and then 12th as well. So if you look at these center candles, there's no tags to the center candles, right? So what do we say? We say over under the highs, because if we break into this candle, right, this has a no GP. So if you draw a Fibonacci from the high-low, it'll give you a nice, beautiful little 50 right there, right? If we lose 536.24, that's the opportunity to come hunt for the golden pocket, right? So notice the breakthrough right here and the retest right here caused some very nice volatile lows. Now, I caught a bottom today on this on a bigger move, about 80 some points up for our group. We did the NQ and MNQ bottoms on the top steps. We did a little bit, about 2,500 bucks, something like that today. And we do still have some gaps up here to fill on ES, in my opinion. We are still coming back along 6155, 6156. I just want to note that for you guys as well. So how did we pick the bottom? Well, this big dashed blue line right here, that's the 10 SMA on the daily chart right here. And that was a very big bounce point. If we move back into this guy right here, notice where there's another golden pocket that tagged perfectly to the 50, right? There's actually another one that actually came into fruition right here with the 10 SMA. So let me tell you exactly how, from the weekly chart on, I'll do this one real simple, how I picked the bottom of the day after we got that hardcore drop, right? Default's a little messy. Let's go restart this guy right here. So I'm real big on fibs, high-low. You guys know this if you watch the channel. This is last week's candle, okay? Last week, high-low is what I usually do for the fibs, and that's it. And you just wait for price action to play. I always draw mine teal. And we have an over-under. So if price action would have stayed above that 100, we would have continued higher. Same thing we do on the daily chart with the no GPs we just talked about. Well, the break of 538.87 today netted us an opportunity to come down to a golden pocket on a weekly candle, right? And we don't have any pullbacks here. We're literally at all-time highs. So what better than an all-time high hit would be the next following day to pull back, right, and find confirmation of support. Let's go to the daily chart from the weekly and kind of look at what we have there too. So I want to overlap multiple Fibonacci points here. So what I did was I took last week's high-low, fibbed it. We got a golden pocket. Lo and behold, there's that bottom we're talking about, right with the 10 SMA in the blue right here. Now we're going to add a daily fib that has no GP, the 13th, as we've talked about many times now. And lo and behold, wow, we got double overlay Fibonacci's. Now, again, I teach this on all my lives. Go ahead and check out the indicators we use in all the live sessions. I'll teach you exactly how to use these things and how to set up every day. So where are all of those intersecting Fibonacci points? Well, right here, right? So here's the golden 50. That's the daily 13th center. Here's the weekly 532.41, and the blue dash line is a 10 SMA. Three very, very high interest points for support, right? So we had a big wipeout out of the gate, and I bought micros to the T to the bottom, rode it up about only 30, 40 points. It actually ran like 140, which is fine. We got some good P&Ls today out of it. Still another green day, so can't complain. And as we said for the rest of the group, just watch for the higher lows and the continuation pushes, because I'm very, very, very doubtful that we're going to go any lower than this. So we did hit that bottom, and again, we never came back down. I said it was probably going to be kind of ugly, but slow grind up, which I'm glad to see kind of happen here. So with those two overlapping fibs from weekly and daily, what do you notice about them? Well, it's the first tag, right? So I'm about first tag algorithms on this channel a lot, along with our gaps and data candles, and there's a lot of ways to discuss algorithms here, but first tag. So if you take that 13 high-low and notice that the first time it's been into the golden pocket, clearly as we stated, there's nothing here. Today was the first time it's been into the GP, the golden pocket. Same with the weekly, because we lost 538.87. We came down to the 61.8 and dink. First tag. So not only do I have a daily Fibonacci telling me it's the first support tag, I have the 10 SMA, which we haven't seen in a week plus, and a weekly first tag. It's the first time price action has came in and cut all three of those. So I had to take a bottom on that. There's no getting it. But what I called for my crew was the 1 minute. I think I deleted most of the drawings here, but no big deal. The 1 minute was over the 10 SMA back to VWAP. So I said, all right, crew, once we hit this monster support and we catch the scalp, wait for the pullback, get long on the high or low for confirmation, run it to VWAP in the dash purple. So that's what this looks like right here. We called another 80 plus points. So not only did we scalp this low here, we waited for a confirmational trade. What is that? Well, we're going to look at the daily fib, 533.55. That's the 61.8 in the blue level right here. We broke through that level, right? Snapped through it, back tested it perfectly for 5 minutes. So we held perfect support there, and I said, as long as we're over the 10, go ahead and take it. So we got long right here, ran it to the VWAP. That was our call. So we had a good call here, and then we did look for daily calls to the long if we would have held above yesterday's golden pocket. So let's talk about the trade that didn't work, since I just showed you guys how to get the exact bottom for the market today that we bought. So what do we look for trend, right? Well, yesterday was all-time high, right? So hold on, this MacBook is being junk. My left click just doesn't work anymore now. Typical TOS stuff. No, still nothing. Shake the column. Hey, there we go. Random column shake. That'll bring it back. Typical Mac junk. So yesterday was the high-low, right? So low, high, all-time high. This is also a golden pocket that we have not seen at all, right? Because today's trading is off yesterday's fibs. Yesterday's fibs, high-low, today's golden pocket, right? So what did we see here? Well, we looked for over-under. If we would have stayed above the golden pocket, we would have had a long play. With confirmation above 538.11, we would have started tracking back and attacking some of those gaps we have open on futures and our targets above us. Well, the market needed a little bit of a flush day to get out a lot of top buyers, which is fine. Just got bought back up as expected. But let's take something interesting here for the bottom of the market from the 1 minute chart here, okay? Because on the 1 minute chart, we looked for confirmation and strength above. So the golden pocket from yesterday, right here, we needed it to stay above at least the lower, right? That's the lower. Here's the upper. Here's the center. So the center of the golden pocket's the most important. That's the 50% retrace. We needed to hold the 61.8, 530.11. We broke through it, went to go back test it, and washed it, right? Unlike the trade we just talked about at lows, we had confirmation. Now, no big deal, because I told my crew over 10 is friend, right? So are we trending over the 10? No, we picked up over the 10, looped it, and smashed down. There was no support at the 10, so nobody should have been grabbing big longs right here. We were kind of watching that confirmation, right? So no big deal. But let's look at a no GP tag. As we do the daily fibs high-low, and I look for the GPs, let's take a little peek at this guy right here, and I'll show you another metric I used to bottom tick the market today. Here's a 1 minute high-low, okay? 1 minute chart, high-low, no GP tag at all. So even on a 1 minute chart, we see that this flush crashed through VWAP, 10, the GPs from the daily, and headed down. Now let's take a look at the bottom of the day to the downside. What do we see? Well, that 1 minute algorithm right here smashed all the way down to my magic 666. I can't tell you why this is so magic, but I can show you. So this is just another metric on top of the 4 other major things we talked about for support, where a no golden pocket 1 minute picked the exact bounce at my magical 666. Pretty special. So that was just another metric I wanted to point out that we had a decent one. So let's talk about SPY real quick on the opening play that I had for some of our journal points for the 1 minute. So my crew today, we knew to look for this gap right here. So we talk a lot about gaps. We have a gap indicator. So anybody that signs up, we give them free custom codes through all of our TOS. All this stuff is for free when you sign up with us. So this price level, and I posted this on X if you follow me over there, and I said it's going to be really choppy. It's not going to do anything today, even with data. It's going to be the most boring day ever. So if you look at my X account, the only post I had here, as expected, most boring market day ever for pre, right? Algo's pinned to 611.30. As we noted, no moves with these markets, or with these magnets, until data doesn't matter. It's easy peasy. It's not going to move, essentially, is what I was saying. Because price action is going to magnet pin to the gap. So all we did was charted out a gap that was from yesterday that was not filled, right? This gap was filled, this gap was filled, this gap was filled. No worries. This gap wide open. The algorithms will look for these to hunt, right? Now look at the pre-market after it came back down. Stuck, data, a little bit up, right back to the 1 minute, okay? And that's what I meant by magnets. The price action cannot move away from this 1 minute gap because the system, the matrix, the simulation, whatever you want to call it, the market will not allow it. It's not going to pull away. It needs to fill this if we're this close. So the market held right to that 1 minute, but we know we needed a live tag. So here was my first trade short out of the gate. Pre-market, obviously, live trading. We opened right here. Where's the gap? Down here. So what happened at the open? Well, I shorted the shit out of it because I knew the algos were going to slam down into the 1 minute gap. I did not predict the full-on wash day to the slightest. We had to play counter trend, and we picked a very good bottom. So I missed this whole row down, which is fine. I caught half of it back up. No big deal, right? So long story short, that 1 minute gap that was open on the SPY was a magnet. So the price action, again, started here, right? And then I knew it was going to come down to that 1 minute. Now, nothing's guaranteed in the market. Statistically, it had to fill, or had a good chance to fill today. Now, when we look at what's coming up next, well, we don't have any more real gaps to look for, and we came all the way back to. So again, here on SPY, if we utilize that 1 minute, no GP, similar to the QQQ, just for another example here, take this 1 minute, high-low, go to the right. Let's go look where the bottom is. Interesting. 666 again. And I'll give you guys that one for free. I'm not going to tell you why it's important because it unlocks a lot of magical stuff for you later on, but our crew knows why. Come join, ask questions. We'll get you suited up with the knowledge. So prediction for the rest of the day, it's the same exact thing. I have no changes for you guys. Still long biased above the 10 estimate daily. Still going to start cooking. But now that SPY has a nice deep dive into the no tag GP, which again is going to be that 13th. We're going to take that high low. Bam. Bam. We're going to get that to the right, and all we're going to do is play over under 610. That's it. So the 100 fib again is going to be our magical number. If we are underneath that 610, we are going to look for further into the golden pocket down onto the short side of things. If we are above that, we'll be looking into the top side of the 1618, and I'm still on the long side until we start trending under 610, okay? So I still think the SPY and everything else has a chance to complete this move right here, where we do hold above 610. We do start pushing back up, and inevitably could see as high as 614. I don't know about that, but I think we're going to get some of the algo fills above us on ES and NQ tomorrow for the data, which would be best case. And if not, it's a chop and it's another little red day like down here. It'll happen next week further on, because generally speaking, sentiment and seasonality, the end of February is not very bullish. It's generally bearish. So when we're kind of failing here, which is fine, it doesn't matter. If we're looking for the long and it just doesn't come, it just means we have swing targets back up that are going to be astronomically accurate. So let's say we do start to break back down and it does start to give up a whole bunch and it wants to have a big correct back down towards the 50 or, wherever it wants to correct. It doesn't, it's up to the market. It does not matter, because once we find the base bottom reversal, we're going to come back up to right here, right? Not the plan yet. I'm not going to give up on the long yet. What we're going to do is we're going to go anything over that 61.34 for the futes. We're going to start pressing back up. If you look at that wash today, and we're on the 5-minute chart, notice we're going to have some of these candles here that have no golden pocket tags. We did 2 examples on this already and what the golden pocket is. Now let's take a peek at where we're at. We hit this golden pocket 5-minute. Okay, we have no tag GP, but we did hit that lower. So once we open up and let's say it does hold, right? Chopping around here, boom, boom, 61.34. We get inside the pocket. We are going to 61.42.71. Now from there, we still have these two target longs. So I'm still going to say as long as we get trend as friend above yesterday's close and above this weekly, that we will see ES up here, hopefully with the data tomorrow and the push, right? So we're still going to look for this green move above the weekly, above 61.34 and a penny, moving into target 1, 61.42.71. That's a profit. And then if it comes down, holds that around here again, does a little outside move, back up to 6155, 6152.80. Those are going to be our two markers for the day trades overnight and tomorrow. So that'll be it. So a little short recap here as I'm under the weather today, but we got her. If you want to see me do this stuff live and you want to come join us for the PMI and the Michigan Consumer Inflation and Sentiment tomorrow and watch me chart all this up and show you how to trade the data, come join us. Links in the description. If you want to just tune into the next for YouTube, please do. We'll see you then. Take care. Trade safe.